are in control of this universe and nothing happens without your oversight. And so today we thank you for those of us who are in the center of your will, because whatever that's happening around us, that is the safest place to be. Speak to us, encourage us from your word to the destiny and purpose that you have foreordained for us. In Jesus' name. This morning I want to look at the book of Acts chapter 27 from a different perspective. Paul is caught in a storm. And it's very interesting because Paul was committed to go to Rome to fulfill the purpose and plan of God. Rome was his destiny. And sometimes we assume because we are moving in the purpose of God that life should be trouble-free. That I've discovered personally is furthest from the truth. Listen to me carefully. The fact that you and I are in the will of God and moving in the direction of God for the destiny and purpose He has preordained for us doesn't mean life will be trouble-free. Acts chapter 27, verse 1-2. When it was decided that we should sail for Italy, Paul and some of the prisoners were handed over to Centurion named Julius, who belonged to the imperial regiment. We boarded the ship and about to sail, and we put out to sea. So Paul is just moving along. Life is moving along the way we want it to. And Paul's quite content. I'm moving in God's direction. But in verse 13, a gentle south wind began to blow. They thought they had obtained what they wanted, so they weighed anchor and sailed along the shore of Crete. Before very long, a wind of hurricane force called the northeaster swept down from the island. The ship was caught up by the storm and could not head into the wind. So we gave way to it and were driven along. Life presents contradictions. On the one hand, we are moving in God's purpose, and suddenly the wind shifts. And Paul is caught up in the middle of the storm because of somebody else's bad choice. How does Paul confront his storm? And as I meditated on this whole scenario over the last 1 week, I discovered in Acts 27, verse 20, when neither sun nor stars appeared for many days and the storm continued to rage, we gave up all hope of being saved. Wow. So it seems like there's a contradiction. And what I've discovered from my personal life and journey is that when I believe I'm moving in God's will, purpose, and plan to fulfill what He has purpose for my life, sometimes, quite unexpectedly, I go through a storm. I remember about 12 years ago, I was in the Philippines and I had to speak at an evening conference of a fairly large size, and I was in a little hotel room and the bulb on the side of my bed was flickering. And I'm a left-hander, so in the natural from where I was positioned, I should have reached out with my left hand and tried to tighten that plug in its socket. That's the natural. But for some unknown reason, I used my right hand. And in 2 seconds, I got thrown back, I was electrocuted, and I could feel physically the electricity running right through my right hand, and it came out from here. And I was not as mature as I am in my faith today, and I was thrown back. And when I went to the general hospital and had a cardiologist look at me, he said, "You should be really thankful to God that it didn't happen the other way, because not only would you have died, but anybody who touched you may have died." So that's no. You're in the center of God's will. And sometimes, because of our lack of maturity, we don't know how to handle our storms as Paul did. And for me, this whole week has been a totally different learning experience. And as I look back on my life, I began to realize at least 4 times I should have died. But I didn't, because God's purpose for my life as it is for yours is greater than any storm you're going through this moment. In 2015, I landed in Sri Lanka at 1:30. 5:30 we were at Lanka Bible College, which is a teaching institution in Kandy. And at 8 o'clock, what a church came. And then Shan gave me a aspirin. Didn't seem, what can an aspirin do when you got a heart attack? But the aspirin did more for my heart at that point in time than anything else would have done. Because I went to a GP and they did 2 ECGs on me, and they said, "Your heart is clear. You haven't had a heart attack." Because when you looked at the graph, it didn't show heart was damaged. But then we went down to a hospital there, the general hospital, not the nicest place to be on the planet, by the way, just in case. And I was between a rock and a hard place, questioning, doubting, confused, asking God, if I am in the center of your will, why am I in this predicament? So I asked for my Bible, because when you're going through a storm, that's the best place to go. And somebody brought me my Bible, and I said, "God, I need a word from you now," and I opened it, and Psalm 118 verse 17 was specifically designed for me. It said, "I shall not die but live and declare the work of God." Wow. God cannot get more specific than this. That is why it is important for us to read our Bible, not just when we are in a storm, but when we are outside it. When we read the Word of God outside our storm, and we go through one as we will from time to time, we can draw strength and resilience to move past it. So we come to Acts 27, verse 21. So now they're in a bad place. All hope is gone. I had a social media post from a senior pastor of a very, very large church in a particular country, and some Christian leaders were communicating to each other on that post that there is supposedly somebody who's an informer had said 1 million people had died in China. And they were trying to have a discussion on that, and she wanted my opinion. And this is a senior leader of a very, very large church. And then suddenly it hit me that fear is real. Anxiety is real. Fear and anxiety have nothing to do with the size of my ministry. And I was shocked that she should ask me for that opinion. And I said, look, I don't know what the Chinese informant might say. I don't know what these three church leaders are discussing. But from my personal standpoint, that's a waste of time. Because either I believe what God says about me and my life, or I don't. There's no middle ground. So Paul, after the men had gone a long time without food, Paul stood up before them and said, men, you should have taken my advice, verse 21, not to sail for Crete. Then you would have spared yourselves this damage and loss. But now I urge you to keep up your courage, because not one of you will be lost. Only the ship will be destroyed. And here's the challenging part. I looked and researched to find out whether Paul had prayed about this situation, but it's not stated in Scripture. I like to think he prayed. I believe he would have prayed, but I believe in a far greater principle which operates in my life and my ministry, and that is called the sovereignty of God. That as long as you, to the best of your ability and mind, are walking with God in the integrity of our hearts, nothing that happens to us is outside His purpose. It doesn't make sense to us, but it does to God. And I realized something else. And this is a revelation for me. God didn't give Paul a new promise. He wanted him to stand on the promise he had already received in Acts chapter 23. The Lord told Paul, you got to stand before Caesar. Wow. So, sometimes in our immaturity, we look for a new promise, a new experience. But Paul drew strength that God had a destiny for him in Rome. And even though he was in the middle of a storm and all hope was lost, some way, somehow, God was going to get him. Here's another thing that most of us should learn. When Paul went through his storm, he didn't talk to people about the storm. He spoke to God. Sometimes we got to go to 300 people to get their opinions. I'm just watching, I get bored easily, and I'm watching people's social media posts, and that's enough to send you into panic mode. They have all the statistics of corona in Sri Lanka, in India, and they have nothing to do with their lives. They have nothing to do. So not only are they negative, they will spit their negativity on you also. There's no middle ground in this. The less you talk to people, and the more you talk to God, the more faith you can build into your life and into your support system. People have been sending me SMSs, curfew, 6 o'clock in Sri Lanka. Who cares? I'm here. I don't care about a curfew in Sri Lanka. Can't affect my life. Because I have nothing to do. Monday morning I get another one problem. If I come, so I just deleted them, blocked them out of my system. Because I want to walk in faith. I do not want anything negative to creep into my life and stop me from moving in the direction that God wants me to move. You still love me? There's no middle ground in this. You know, especially you ladies. The guys don't talk anyway. We got 20,000 words, now we got 40,000. You look at the words, I don't mean that. There's enough of negativity on social media, we don't need to add to it. We walk by faith and not by sight. So I want to encourage you this morning that God's law is the highest law in the universe. And if you are living under the power of that law, nothing is happening in your life outside this. And that brings comfort. When I was on that hospital bed in Calvary, and I was isolated and alone, God was with me. When I was at the rehabilitation center in Springvale, at about 11 o'clock in the night, I went through what is termed the catharsis, whatever that word means. And then there was a knock on the door. And a Filipino nurse gently walked into my room. And I had a CD player on with 10,000, what's that song? 10,000 reasons to sing, you know. To be honest, I really couldn't sing 10,000 reasons to sing when you're lying on a hospital bed with a Macintosh, and if you move this way, you'll fall over and nobody there to pick you up. And you know what she told me? She said, "Are you Christian?" She said, "I knew you were, because I'm a believer." And God impressed on my heart to come into your room and just encourage you. I was going through one of the most challenging emotional times in my entire life. And I felt so alone as I was convulsing with emotion. And yet, in the middle of the storm, God sent an angel to reassure me. 1984, September, I had gone for about 100 odd interviews without a job, no life support system financially because we couldn't draw Social Security at that time. I was in the city, in Collins Street, in utter desperation, sitting on a bus stand. And I still remember it was a Thursday, asking myself, God, have I really made the wrong choice? Because everything was working against us. The money was running out and hope of getting employment was gone. I had 2 children to feed and no house to stay in. And then, suddenly, from across the road, a young man who was Australian, looked Australian, walked across that road and came and sat next to me. And he said, I don't know what you are going through, but one thing I do know is the God you worship will see you through. Wow. And he was gone. Now I'm very conservative in my faith, so I'm not trying to say it was an angel sitting next to me on an aeroplane or something. But all I want that's to miss the bus. All I'm trying to say from these experiences is this: that from a human perspective, hope seems gone. But Paul says last night, an angel of the Lord whom I serve and whom I belong to, that's the key, assured me that you have to stand before Caesar. And not only that, that all of you will also be saved because of me. So keep up your courage. Verse 25. For I have faith in God that it will happen just as it was told. Nevertheless, we must run aground on some island. You know, we all get caught between a rock and a hard place. Storms are an indisputable part of life. We cannot avoid it. Expect the unexpected. Respond as Paul. So Paul is assured that he's going to be saved, and all the sailors who are with him, but not in the way he would have expected. I listen to people praying, and they're always telling God how to get the outcome. I'm talking from 45 years of real life experience. I learned my faith on the street. I didn't go to a theological seminary and learn. I just learned it through life. There's one thing I learned. And one thing I can pass on to you this morning is that God is faithful even when we might seem faithless because we are human. We are human. And we may not be as strong as Paul is, and we may not be as resolute as Paul was. But one thing I know is that when you are in the center of God's will, and everything around you is in turbulence, you can rest in the comfort and the knowledge that He is in charge. So don't try to predict outcomes for yourself. Let Him do it His way. Stay on the ship. Faith says stay in a sinking ship, trusting God for the outcome. Unbelief says abandon the ship, take your chances and swim to shore. That's what some of the sailors tried to do. Some of the sailors stayed in the ship, but when they were coming to the shore, they said, let's make a break for it. You know, human nature is human nature. Here's my experience, and I close with this. When people are caught, shunned between a rock and a hard place, and they have no options, they come to us. Okay. They come to us for our wisdom and our experience, and they say, hallelujah. And then as they go out and journey, and they see an easier path, they stop following the original direction and take matters into their hands. That's human nature. We always seem to think we know there's a better way. Paul received the promise long ago. 2.5 years ago, about. You have to stand before Caesar and give witness to me in Rome. My work is not yet over. I haven't finished with you yet. There is still more to be accomplished. There is still more to be done. And you know, when Paul got out of that brokenness and that vessel, and he ended up in Malta and he went to Rome for the rest of his life, he preached the gospel and and change hearts and lives in a way I've never done before. And it only came out of that real life experience. It's one thing to read a book or listen to a podcast, but it's another thing to be in the middle of a storm with no one to help you. And so you can thrive or survive. You know, today the world is in survival mode. I think one thing different about the Sri Lankans is they had to put a curfew to stop people from partying. I think in one way that's a very, very positive approach to life. They had to actually do that. Because guys were going on holidays and, you know, it's like the Aussie mentality. I like the Aussie mentality. They had about 5,000 people on Bondi. 25,000 over the day. Wow, she'll be right, man, that's all right. I'm going to sing in the middle of the storm. Every storm, my friend, has a beginning, but every storm also has an end. And you might be going through one this morning. Stay anchored in the Word. Don't look for a fresh promise. Stand on the old one. That's what I did. And I can tell you, I'm preaching this out of my life experience because I learned some things that I've looked at these texts, I've preached on these texts over the last 45 years, maybe 100 times or over. But I began to see some reality that I never saw before. Shall we all stand as we close? I'll ask the worship team to come. I'm able to just sing that song. I'm going to sing in the middle of the storm. 4 meters apart. I hope you are blessed this morning. Be encouraged. God is in control. It may not look like it, it may not seem like it, but He's in control. Because He's God. Be still and know that I am